Hello and welcome. So this is living the EV life, and it's you join me on a dark, dismal morning. It's dark out there, as you can see. It's raining, which you probably can't see. It's light enough that the camera probably looks through it. Although probably from the glow on, the kind of shine on the surface and all that, you can probably tell. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'm hoping the sun's going to rise soon. I am on my way. Already been driving for an hour on my way down to Cardiff. So going from Peterborough, where I live, of course, down to Cardiff, charged to 100% before leaving home. So today, one of the things I'm going to look at or look into as part of this journey is how far can I drive now that the car is 3 years old and has done 73,000 miles. So the original WLTP range on this car is 328 miles, which of course we all know that the WLTP test is a very specific set of circumstances, I guess, conditions, that's the word. Very specific set of conditions and a very particular test, and does not in general represent what people achieve when they are doing long distance driving. So it might show you what you could get out of the range of the car when you are doing lots of local journeys as a cumulative range of all of those journeys over maybe 2 weeks. But it doesn't show you what the range of the car would be if you were to get in and just do a long drive, which I think is where most people have gotten stuck with looking at range and going, that's not real range, or that's not real world range. You hear a lot of talk about real world range as if everybody drives the same in the real world, and that's different to WLTP. Don't get me ranting on that one, we'll leave that one for another day. But this is going to be a long distance journey of the type that you would reference if you were moaning about the range predictions and WLTP. So Peterborough down to Cardiff. I'm on the A14 at the moment. You can see it's dual carriageway. It's fast road. I'm doing 70 most of the time. There's a lorry that's pulled out, so we're dropping down to 60 something at the moment. But it will be 70 mostly. I will join the M6. I will go from the M6 onto the M42 onto the M5, and I'll turn off that onto the M50, I think it is. M50 becomes the A40, becomes the A448, joins the M4 near Cardiff, and then finally I'll end up in Cardiff. It'll take me about 200 miles, just under, to get there. So my expectation is the car will definitely do 200 miles. I have no concerns about that. But will it then allow me another 50 miles back to Gloucester services to charge on my way home? Or will I have to stop earlier? That really is the question. So how far will I go? And if I do get to Gloucester services, how much range will be remaining? Or how much percentage as well will be remaining at that point? Could I go even further? Or would I need to absolutely stop there with the last little few percent, last sparks of the battery, shall we say? That is the plan, and hopefully we'll catch a nice sunset in a moment as well. So a bit more driving, and I will chat later on. Okay, just a point of interest, coming up to Rugby services. I'm not going to be stopping here, but If I did need to charge, if somebody was coming from somewhere else and was hitting this point needing to charge, then there are currently 29 grid serve charge points available according to the car. That's out of 36 in total. So lots of charging here available this morning. I know there's also Tesla charge points there as well. So loads and loads of charging available at Rugby Services Junction 1 of the M6. Okay, battery percent has just dropped to 80%. So that's the first 20% of the battery. So 1/5. We've done 61.6 miles, averaging 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. It's taken 1 hour 13, got 204 miles remaining. And the car thinks I will arrive with 17%. Now, as mentioned before in previous videos, the percentage arrival prediction is always pessimistic on this car. At least it is for my style of driving. If you're foot to the floor, maybe it'll be different. But for me, it's always pessimistic. So I'm expecting well over 20% by the time I arrive. Not 17. That's my estimation. It's quite nice having the estimation from the car, but knowing in my own mind that my estimation, or the real estimation, the reality will be above that, is useful too. So if we had 62% from the first 62 miles, sorry, from the first 20%, I arrive with over 20%, then I should be able to drive maybe 60-70 miles after leaving Cardiff before needing to charge on the way home. Okay, so we're on the M5 now, heading southbound, and we're about halfway. So 98 miles to go on the sat-nav, 98 miles travelled so far on the car's trip computer. It's actually slightly over that now and slightly under on the sat-nav. It's obviously while I'm talking and driving, it changes all the time. So the car is predicting I arrive with 19%. That will continue to go up. The car has used 31%. We're down to 69% now. So 31% for half of the distance. Presumably, again, 31% for the next half of the distance, maybe. So that would make it 38% on arrival. Be interesting to see if that's true. We are currently driving at 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour, and I've done 1 hour 53 minutes. It's been relatively free flowing. The sat-nav predicted an arrival time of 8:55 when I left the house at 5:30 in the morning. Obviously, traffic's pretty quiet at that point. You're expecting it to go up. So it went from 8:55, it's currently 9:03. So that's what, 8 minutes lost due to traffic. And I've gone round Birmingham, so I've done M6, M42, and you're onto the M5. So I would say, yeah, you would expect to lose more than that around there, really. Losing less than 10 minutes going around there. It would have been about 7 o'clock when I was going through the busiest parts of that. So busier roads than would have been back at 5:30 when the sat-nav was predicting at the beginning. So quite pleased with the sat-nav on that respect. Well done, Kia Nav. But we have gained a bit of a sunrise, it seems. Bottoms of the clouds are starting to look quite nice and colourful. little bit of a reddy orange tinge. We've also got a bit of a slowdown here, but hopefully that's not too much of a problem. Hopefully it's not a major incident. And I've been driving since 5:30. It's been 2 hours. I haven't had my breakfast yet, so I will be stopping shortly. I think I'll use the services at Strensham. It's where the M5 and M50 meet. Nice Ioniq 6 there on my left. Hello, Mr. Ioniq 6. So just short of Strensham services now. So I'm going to pull off, get some breakfast. Cleared that bit of sticky traffic. Still, the sat nav says 9:05 on arrival, so presumably it had recognised that that was a sticky bit past. It's just past the junction at Gloucester. Don't know why, but there we go. Obviously quite busy at Gloucester. So I'm going to come off here, get myself something to eat. Done 116 miles so far in 2 hours 14, 4 miles per kilowatt hour, 63% battery remaining, 157 miles remaining in the battery. Predicted arrival with 24% remaining. So we shall see. Okay, so here are Strensham services. Oh, by the way, there are 4 GridServe rapid chargers greater than 150 available here, and 3 less than 50s. So there are charge points here available. If I'd wanted to stop here and charge, I could have done. That was true at Hotwood services, that was true at Rugby services, that was also true at the BP points that are on the junction with the NEC, if you're familiar with that. So I think I will park somewhere on the right here. Avoid the charge points. Yep, there are charge points free, so that's good to see. What's on the sat nav is true in reality too. Right, let's grab some breakfast. Okay, so back on the road, picked up some breakfast on the left of the charge points, the 6, and there's 1, 2, 3 taken, so 3 out of 6 taken. That's at 8 o'clock on a busy Monday morning. And that's just one location where you could charge. As I say, I passed other locations on my way down here. Plenty of charging, all of them. And I, like many others in the car park there, didn't need to charge. There were quite a few of the cars in the car park that were electric. And on to the M50 and heading to South Wales. ETA is now 9:18. So I lost 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, stopping to pick up some breakfast. Got my coffee, transferred it to my reusable coffee cup. I don't much like the paper ones that McDonald's give you, particularly the paper lids. Those paper lids are horrible. Much rather have it in my own coffee cup. So even where they give it to me in a paper cup, I'm not saving paper cups by doing that, but at least I'm having a nicer experience of drinking my coffee. Yes, I could probably have gone with my coffee cup, asked them to do it in that, but when it's a busy place like that, it's probably not happening. A bit awkward. This would have been where I would have stopped if I'd had a bit more time. A40 Cafe, just there on the left. Been there before on a trip down here, where I had a bit more time. Definitely an improvement over the McDonald's I've just had. But sometimes time doesn't allow. You've got to push on. And that's what I'm doing right now. So ETA 9:20, still on target to arrive ahead of schedule by 10 minutes. Car is now at 50% battery and I've done 145 miles. It's telling me it has 120 left. So it thinks it's got less remaining than what I've travelled. That may be because of the prediction of what's remaining compared to the reality of what I've travelled. It may also be that the lower half of the battery has slightly less in it than the upper half, which I think is true. I think they estimate the 50% slightly below 50% in my experience. That may be because the 50% is kind of an accurate halfway and 0 is not. So 0 allows a buffer below 0 in case you reach 0 so that you don't completely run out. And it may be that the 50% is halfway between the very bottom and the very top rather than the actual 0 they tell you on the screen. That's just my speculation. Don't know if I'm right or not. Sat-nav screen says I'm going to get there and have 27% remaining. I can imagine that might be over 30 by the time I actually arrive. So 30% remaining. I should be able to do the 50 miles-ish from Cardiff to Gloucester North services on the way back, which is where I plan to stop to recharge, or well, not fully recharge, but to top up enough to get me home. Obviously, on a journey like this, when you've charged from home beforehand and you can charge from home when you get back, you really don't want to be fully recharging on the way home. You want to be recharging enough to get you back home. Don't spend too much on the expensive public chargers, just enough, and then use your low-cost charge point at home to do the majority of your recharging. Also means you don't hang around as long. Your stops are shorter. So it's a win-win. Okay, some roadworks, so we're slowing down for these. So that 145 miles at 50% battery, if we were to double that, if we were to say that is 50%, if we were to double that, then that would be 290 miles, which I think would be very respectable, especially as this car is now 3 years old and 73,000 on the clock. I don't think it's the 3 years old that matters. I think a 3-year-old car is still relatively new, isn't it? It's the 73,000 miles on the clock which is probably the bit that would deplete the battery. The number of charge cycles, let's say. From other stats I've looked at, I think I am around 300 charge cycles on this battery, based on some of my other calculations. I don't have it right here with me, but I can look at it at some time and when I get back and have a look and see what precise number is. Okay, so almost there. Just got under 10 miles, 9.5 miles remaining. Coming up on Cardiff gate services shortly, 2 miles time. There are 13 of 16 Apple Green charge points available, according to my car system, which generally is pretty accurate, to be fair. It's not on the dot all the time. I mean, obviously there's delays in data and so on. It's going to be slightly behind, but it's pretty decent. So yeah, you could definitely stop, or I could definitely stop in 2 miles time and charge if I wanted to. If I was going onwards further into Wales, for instance, into South Wales, heading down to, I don't know, the Pembrokeshire coast or something. So that would be all good. As it happens, I'm going another 8 miles. I've got 36% remaining at the moment. Car thinks I will get there with 32% remaining. I've done 181 miles. So I'm predicting around 270-ish by the time it gets to 0 miles, or if I were to take it to 0 miles. So it's looking like I will have plenty of battery to get to where I'm going, spend my day working, and get back to Gloucester northbound services to charge there, either the ones they have as part of Gloucester services, or the Teslas that they also have in the Tesla superchargers that they also have in the car park, depending on what's available and what I feel like plugging into. So that is the plan. All is going to plan. Car says I have 85 miles remaining in the battery, so if I add that to 181 or 182 it is now, then that makes what, 267. So yeah, around 270. My prediction is about right, it seems. Okay, so I'm going to end for the moment there. I won't take this part of the journey any further, and I'll catch you later on the return trip, return leg. Hello, so I realise this is the first time I've actually been to camera in this video, so hello, in case you're missing me. Start of the video was very dark, obviously early in the morning. I got up at 5, I think it was, for this job. Now it is almost 5 again in the evening, heading home, and it's going to be dark again in the moment, so I thought I'd do a bit to camera, get my face in the video at least, for take the opportunity. So car has 33% remaining, 76 miles. I'm going to be going to Gloucester northbound services as my charge point, and we'll see if we can get there. According to the sat nav, I think I looked earlier, it was about, let's have a look, Gloucester services, that's southbound. If I choose southbound, won't be much different. Close on the search for stations, so 67. So I've got 76 in the battery, 67 to get there according to the sat nav, although that is southbound, so that will have me going past and back again. Let me just go home, Kia live charging stations near the destination, and then I can find the northbound services, so I can change that as my destination. There we go, let it calculate, close on the search. So 59, so 59 miles to the northbound services, and I have 76 in the battery, so we should all be good. I should get there with a pretty low battery, so we should hopefully be able to say more appropriately or more convincingly as to how many miles I still have in this car after the 3 years. So 191 miles to get here, so adding on that extra 60 miles will take us 250-ish, and that's motorway miles, remember, not the WLTP test. So that's how we're going to go. That's how we're going to roll. Let's get it on the road. Okay, so we're back on the way. M4 at the moment. M4 heading across to the bridge and then up the M5, so a slightly different route back, because that will bring me past the Gloucester services where I want to stop. It's a valid alternative route. It's the route that Google Maps would have taken me this morning, but the Kia sat-nav prefers the M50 A40 route, which is also the one I prefer, particularly if I'm stopping at my favourite cafe on the A40 for breakfast. Wasn't lucky on that one today though, didn't have the time. It's a bit dismal, a bit rainy, you can probably see the wipers going. I've got my heated steering wheel, heated seat on. And we'll see how we do for miles. Okay, so travelling along the M4, car has just popped up a message saying that battery conditioning has just begun to ensure optimum DC charging, which is nice because obviously then I don't have to wait as long to charge. Of course, that does mean that it's going to use up some of the power that would have taken me some more miles further. So if I really wanted to see how far it could definitely go, then I would turn that off. But I want to get home. I don't want to spend too long charging. And with the battery conditioning happening, bringing it up to temperature, that will allow me to spend less time charging. So that's what I'm going to do. You'll just have to factor in that, or I'll just have to factor in that I could have gone a little bit more had it not been using some of the energy to warm the battery for the DC charging that I'm going to be doing when I get to the services. So the car currently says it's got 56 miles remaining in the battery. The services are 34 away, so I have 22 to spare at the moment. So 34 to go, 22 to spare, not a problem at all. Currently today I have done 217. So I add my 33 to my 217, that'll be 250 on the dot in fact. So it'll be 250 exactly arriving at the services with another 22 to spare. So that'll be 272. So yeah, we're looking at 275, probably a bit more, because of course you can go a little bit beyond zero. There's a bit of a loss due to the battery preconditioning that's happening at the moment, and I think it underestimates a little bit on how good it is. I can drive more efficiently than it thinks. It currently thinks I will get to my charge point with 4% remaining, so that'll be interesting to see whether I get there with 4% or not. It's currently on 24%, so another 20% to do the 32 miles to the services. That's the plan. We're going over the bridge, by the way, at the moment. The bridge between England and Wales. The battery heater turned off as I passed 20%, so down at 18% now, and the battery heater has turned off. The battery coolant is still up higher, it's at 26 degrees, the battery heater is at 39 degrees, So hopefully some of that heat will still pass through into the battery and warm it up. The minimum temperature in the battery, which is the important one, where we're talking about charging the battery in cold weather, minimum temperature is up to 15, so that's gone up. The maximum temperature is still hovering around 19, which is fine. Be nice to have it above 20, be nice to have them both above 20. But as long as the minimum's coming up, I don't so much mind what the maximum does. Okay, we're closing in on Gloucester now. We're 3 miles from Gloucester services. 22 miles predicted in the battery, 3 miles to go, so we've still got what, 19 to spare, 19 miles to spare, down to 11%. So it looks like we'll arrive with maybe 9%, 10%, 8, 9, 10%, something like that. Oh, 10% has just been achieved, and we have the message saying low battery. So car saying, come on, need to charge, which is fine. It won't restrict my power usage, it won't restrict the car at 10%. It's not like I've got turtle mode or anything like that. We're well away from that. 247.5 miles, so again we're still set for 250 exactly by the time I arrive at the services. The car is saying there are 8 out of 12 charge points available from eVolt network, which I think is the Westmoreland ones. There are also some Tesla charge points there. I might plug into them, being as the battery's not up to temperature. I don't need to go fast. They are a little bit cheaper, even though they're a bit slower. On this car, by the way, on the 800 volt. Had I been wanting the optimum journey, I wouldn't have gone this far deep into the battery. I would have stopped earlier. There were some charge points on the M4, there were some Ionity ones, I think at Magor services, or Magor, or whatever it is, Magor. So I would have gone to those instead. Interestingly, Strensham services is 20 miles away, and I've got 21 miles left in the battery. It'd be tempting, it's tempting. I'm not going to, but it's tempting to see if I could make that extra 20. I reckon I could, because I think when it says there's 21, there's more than that in the battery. I think I can make Strensham services from here and do 270 miles. I'm not going to, but it's tempting. We are 1 mile away now. Battery has cooled down from its bit of heating earlier. I'm still at 15 on the minimum, so hopefully it won't be too slow charging. But because it turned off the battery heater, because it was afraid of using too much energy, I am slightly cooler battery than I would normally be when stopping. I would normally stop earlier with a hot battery, having used the heating, and then get the super rapid charging that you get with this car. But hey, I've chosen this because of doing this video. Those are the hardships of creating YouTube videos, eh? Now, where do we need to go? That's deliveries, this is other vehicles. Here's the sign telling me that the charge points are 69 pence per kilowatt hour ultra rapid charging. I'm guessing I'm going this way. It says electric and Tesla charging this way. And then this way. And then this way. Okay, so there are plenty of the eVolt ones available. Are there any of the Tesla ones available? Because as I say, they will be a bit cheaper. Yep, looks like I can slot in either in between a couple of cars or on the end here. So I think I'm going to go onto the end. These are the V4 Tesla charge points. So these are the ones that you can just use with a contactless card. I haven't ever used the others. They also don't have long enough cables to reach to the charge point on this car, so that's why I only ever use the V4s. So let's go back into here. There we go. So exactly 250 miles, in fact. Let me just take a little video on my little camera for that one. So, I don't know if you can see that. Let me angle the camera that way. There we go. So 250 miles for the day, 5 hours and 4 minutes of driving, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour average. So that's 250 miles. I've got 9% battery remaining, and I have a prediction that that would take me 21 more miles. So all is good. I'm going to get this charging. Okay, so I plugged into the Tesla charge points and it went straight up to 97 kilowatts. Well, not straight, I mean it took maybe 10 seconds, but that's straight up. So straight up to the 97 kilowatts that you expect from the Tesla charge points when you have one of these 800 volt architecture cars. So 15-degree minimum battery temperature is fine when plugging into Teslas, because any hotter is irrelevant because you're getting maximum anyway. The reason I'm plugged into these are a bit cheaper than plugging into the other ones. So I'm gonna stop here, grab something to eat. It is now just before 6 o'clock, so that fits in nicely with my plans. So I've grabbed something to eat. I don't mind that it takes a while longer on these charge points than on, say, an Ionity or on something like that. I'm happy to pay the lower price and spend a little bit longer because I'm taking that time anyway, because I'm going off to get something to eat. So that is the plan. So nice to see them go straight up to the 97 kilowatt charge speed, even with the battery on a cooler level. Obviously, if it's down at 0, 1 degree, that sort of thing, you would definitely need to get some heat in the battery before even plugging into a slower charge point like these Tesla ones. So that's what you have to do. And when I say slower charge point like the Tesla ones, I mean with regard to this particular car. They're actually quite quick charge points if you have a 400 volt car. It's just a mismatch between the two different architectures, that's all. Lots on that on the internet, I won't go into it too much. So that's that for now. I'm going to go and get some food. Okay, I don't know exactly how long that took, about 20, maybe 25 minutes or something. I wasn't really counting because I went in, had some food, went to the toilet, came back, came out, and the car was at 70%, so I took off charge and we're about to head off. So steak and ale pie made with Hawkshead Head beer, portion of chips. I took my titanium cutlery set, so I don't have to use any sort of, the horrible wooden forks. They're horrible, aren't they? First few bites, you just end up, they absorb all of your moisture. I can't stand the things. So I carry around my titanium set, camping set. Great, really good. So yeah, really enjoyed my steak and ale. I went to the toilets, as I say, came back. I've got 180 miles predicting on the battery now, so that should be enough to get me home. And all is good. I'm just going to pop into the boot and grab myself one of my driving beers for my journey. So let me go and do that. Okay. Right, so this is a Beavertown, if you can see it, maybe you can't see it, Beavertown Laser Crush, alcohol free, of course. I'm driving, it's a driving beer, alcohol free IPA. That's not bad actually, I've not had one of those before. Let's get the camera ready and keep moving. And we are back on the M5. It's actually quite good services, that. There's not much faff. Don't like services where it's all faff, where you have to find your way into the services and find your way out the services and you drive. It seems like an extra mile just to try and get to where you want to be and get back onto the motorway. That's actually quite good services logistically as well. It's really good for food. Food, excellent. Far better than the typical kind of McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, all that sort of stuff that you always get at services. So 178 miles it's saying that I've got moving in the battery, and 138 required, so I've got the loads. I suppose cost wise I could have done with charging a little bit less. If I'd eaten my food a little bit quicker, or gone to the toilet faster, or washed my hands maybe a bit quicker, or if I jogged across the car park, maybe I'd have got back to the car and stopped at charging a little bit earlier. But it's always nice to have a buffer anyway. Okay, so that's it. Well, I'm back to Peterborough services, which is where I'm going to stop. It's only a couple of miles from here, so that's about as far as I need to go. 19% remaining in the battery, 41 miles that is predicted to be. So if I get home with say 15% in the end, then that seems a decent buffer to have. So I did overfill a little bit. I could have maybe 5-10% less, but it's nice to have the buffer, isn't it? And when I go home now, if I pull up and my wife says to me, oh, could you just pop out and get something from the shops or whatever, I've got the power just to go down to the shops, do a few miles, that sort of thing, before charging overnight. Obviously plug in overnight, go to sleep, charge up, and all good for the next day. Not that I'm going anywhere tomorrow, so I'll probably just charge back up to, I don't know, 60% or something like that. Something middling, being as I've got nowhere to go. So, yeah, good journey. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's been useful. Thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, then obviously like this video. Also, if you like the channel, what I'm doing, then subscribe. And all I've got to say really is, again, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll speak to you next time.